Hi everyone, Alchemist here. Today is another numerology episode, and I'm going to talk about number 0 in the occult and what does it mean. Number 0 in tarot is represented by the Fool. Now this number is very important because in numerology, all the numbers, the series of numbers that exist, are a combination of the numbers between 1 to 9. And 0 allows to go to the beyond. 0 allows to go to the next dimension, if you will. Because if you think about it, 1 to 9, and then to get to the next series of numbers is basically number 10. After 9 comes 10. And what's number 10? It's only 1 with the 0 placed beside it. So without the 0, which is the Fool card, we can't breach the limits and go to the next dimension. So the 0 is very, very important. The 0 is what allows us to go to the next level, to go to the next stage of existence. Because after 10, you take the 0 again and you replace it with another 1 and it becomes 11. And so on and so forth. And it goes the same with the 2 becoming 20 and then the 3 becoming 30. And the 0 allows that expansion to the infinity. So the 0 is a very important number, and in the occult, here in tarot specifically, is represented by the Fool card. The Fool card is one of my favorite cards. Not only it has the air symbol, the air alchemical symbol that you can see here, that is air, with the triangle pointing upward with a dash in the middle of the triangle. That's basically air in alchemy. So the 0 number is represented by air. And why is that? It means that 0, if you see the number 0, or in numerology, not many people say that, oh, they see 0, 0, 0. You might see it per se, but it's not a common thing, such as 111 or 333 or 444. It's not very common. But 0 is very important. And if it was not important, it would not be included as a major arcana in tarot. It would not. And that's why it was included. And the 0 here is the representation of, basically, for me, I see this as I have nothing to lose. Because it's the 0 anyways. That having nothing to lose, and being like air and following the air, following spirit. And spirit is basically the element of air, because spirit exists within the dimension that we cannot perceive with our eyes. We can only perceive it with our third eye, or we can sense it, or we can feel it, but we cannot see it like with our physical eyes. So spirit is air, because we cannot see air. Air is something that we cannot see. So the 0, which is the Fool, is like air. It's supposed to be flowy, and it takes you to places you have never thought about before. Just like when you follow air, when you follow spirit, when you follow the air of the universe or the flow of the universe, then you arrive to magical places you've never imagined before. That's because you decided to follow the air, right? And the 0 is the representation for that. In numerology, 0 as a number is basically an empty value number. It has no value. 0 on its own has no value. That's why it has only a value when you add another number beside it, like 1 or 2 or 3, and etc. Then it becomes with value. But here it's the Fool. Why is it the Fool? Why the Fool is associated with number 0? Why is that? Because the Fool has nothing to lose. The Fool, when the Fool decides to embrace who he or she is when they decide to do that, then they have nothing to lose. When you decide to embark on that journey and follow the air, follow the flow of the universe, and leave everything behind, everything that doesn't serve your growth or your life. And everything, I mean everything, because that's what I did in my journey. That's what I did. I left everything behind. That is foolish. When you leave everything behind, it is foolish. People will label you foolish. People will call you stupid. People will call you a fool. People will call you out of your mind, crazy, because you're doing something that no one does. You're doing something that defies destiny. You're doing something that's very different, because you decide to leave everything behind with the purpose to follow the air. That's what I did. Believe me or not, that's exactly what I did. So that has the value of 0. That's why the number that represents the Fool card is 0. That has 0 value. But that has 0 value only in the physical realm, because that's where you're going to find the answers you've been looking for. That's where you're going to breach the limits and pierce them, so you can find the unseen and find the mysteries of the universe. It's only by being the Fool and following the air. It's only by becoming number 0. It's only by declaring that you have nothing to lose and that the only thing you care about is to find out who you truly are, and you just go and do it. It's foolish, it's reckless, it almost seems almost unwise. You know why I said that? Because the 22 major arcanas are basically the representation of the journey of the initiate from 0 to 22. But then some people say that the Fool card is actually the card that comes after the 22nd card, the universe. Some people believe that the Fool comes after, but some people believe that it comes before the Magician. Some people believe that it's first the Fool and then the Magician, and then, the 22nd major arcanas. But some people believe that this card comes after the last 22nd card, which is the universe. For me, what I believe is that it actually can be either or. This Fool card, you are the Fool, you are reckless, you leave everything behind. You have no value, you have nothing to use, just like the number 0. That's what you are when you start the journey to becoming who you truly are, the journey to becoming the mage you are, the witch you are, or whichever you thrive to become. You have to become the Fool in order for that to happen. But one thing that also happens is that after you complete your journey, which is the 22 major arcana cards, and you hit the universe, which is the 22nd, and you reach the universe, at that point you realize that you are the Fool as well. And that's why this card can be placed after the 22nd major arcana. So basically 23, but it doesn't have a number because it can be placed either or. Because the 0 have no value, it can go anywhere. It's like a joker. It can be placed anywhere. It can go anywhere it wants at any point of time. So after you complete your journey and you become the real master, you become a magician, you become a mage, you become the real deal, then you realize that you are actually of no value. Because you know that everything that you seek, knowledge, wisdom, and everything about existence, is basically for the sole purpose of being free with who you are. And being free with who you are has no value. It has no value because no one, it doesn't require anyone's validation. being free, being who you are, doesn't require anything. It doesn't require money. It doesn't require validation. It doesn't require anyone telling you anything. It doesn't require your family admitting you or acknowledging you. It doesn't require your friends accepting you. It requires only you being crazy with yourself and being the fool, number 0, and accepting yourself for who you are and being as free as possible, just like the fool. The fool is here as you can, he's depicted with the little luggage, well, not luggage, with that little, in the Rider Whites, it's depicted with there's a guy and he's holding that cane, which is basically the little stuff that you're gonna need. Maybe it's food, maybe it's just very, very, very few. It's like a little tiny bag or luggage, very small. That's all you need. And then you're basically just traveling. You're going places. You're following the flow of the universe. You're following the air without any attachments, without caring about where you're going, without calculating, without planning. And that's how you get to places. That's how you start understanding things that are very magical. These saints in India or in Tibet, like the monks, when they go to nature and they either meditate for weeks and weeks and you don't see them, what do you think they're doing? Or people who just go and venture and they just same as Buddha, the example of Buddha, Siddhartha, when he decided to live his life as a prince, and he just decided to become a monk, and he was just following the flow, following the air. He was just going from one place to another, from one city to another, from meeting different people, and he basically, because he was a monk, the only food he got was what people were giving him. Because in India back then, these monks, or they call them the samanas, they would just get food from people. So every city or every village they would go to, when people see them dressing up as monks, they give them food, because they know that they are devoting themselves to something higher than the physical reality. So people feel obligated, or they feel like it's like an honor for them to give food to a monk, to feed a monk. They feel like it's a duty to feed a monk because of their purpose, because of the monk's purpose. It's a higher purpose, so they need to give them food. Apparently they don't do that stuff anymore in India, but back then that's what they used to do. So when Siddhartha, who eventually became the Buddha, that's what he did as well. He was just traveling like a vagabond. Basically, you become a vagabond and you just follow the air, and you have nothing to lose, and you leave everything behind. Can you imagine? He left his life as a prince with all the riches, the money, the gold, the women that he had, everything. He left it behind, and he just became a wanderer, a vagabond. But he became the 0 with no value, but that eventually allowed him to become the Buddha. You see what I'm getting here? As I said earlier, 1 to 9 is the series of numbers we have. But in order to get to the next level of numbers, the 0 has to be placed beside the 1, and then it becomes 10. So to go to the next level, you have to become like a wanderer. You have to become foolish. You have to become, that's what many people in society call daring. These entrepreneurs, they call, like, you have to take risks, you have to be daring. That's basically what it is. But in the occult, it's represented by the Fool card. You have to be foolish, you have to be free. You just have to go and do what your intuition is telling you to do, regardless of what society is presenting to you. That's how you reach enlightenment. That's how you reach wisdom, knowledge, and that's how you reach places and the mysteries of existence. That 0 has to be there for the 10 to be placed after the 9. Even though if you think about it, if you remove the 0 from the 10, from number 10, then you're only left with number 1, and number 1 is the beginning. So for that number 10 to be above number 9, and number 9 is a powerful number. I'm going to talk about this in the episode of number 9. Number 9 is a powerful number, but for the 10 to be above 9, the 0 has to be there. So for you to become the master, for you to become the next level of who you are, to kick in that alchemical transformation that I always talk about, to kick it in, to embrace it, to start it, you have to place that 0 in there. You have to become the fool, because that's the only way to get there. If you're not foolish enough, if you're not crazy, then you're gonna be stuck where you are. You might go from number 1 to number 9, but you will never get to number 10. So I hope this makes sense. I hope this kind of, I know it's a little bit philosophical because of how I was interpreting number 0 with the stages of life, and with the major arcanas and so on and so forth, but I hope it makes sense to you. But what I'm trying to say is that it's a very, very important number. It's a very important number. You can only get to mastery, you can only get to becoming who you truly are once you drop every attachment and every validation and every value you think you have. Once you decide to follow the flow of the universe, the flow of the air element represented here in alchemy, once you decide to follow that flow and become number 0, which is basically having nothing to lose, then you can achieve the next level of existence, and your questions about the mysteries of the universe will be answered. So, are you ready to become number 0? It's up to you. I hope this helped. But before I leave, I want to mention that if your demons, your guardian demons, or your spirits, if they send you number 0, you start seeing number 0 everywhere, it probably means that that you need to embark on your alchemical transformation, on your journey to becoming the master. It means that you have to start this journey as soon as possible, because if you see that, it means it's time. It's about time to start. If you start seeing 0s everywhere, and that, of course, you will know. You will know when you see, if you see those numbers, the sequences of 0s, if you see them somewhere, you will know that that's what it means. You will feel it, you will sense it with your own intuition. I hope this helps. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next episode.